Let's try this again, and hopefully I am good and sound is back. Hopefully somebody will hop back on here and let me know that everything is good. So I apologize if you were watching the video earlier. We're going to do a little restart, so I'll go ahead and start yakking, and you guys can let me know when you come back on if you're able to hear things this time, and if not, I don't know. We may have to like totally redo something here and shut down my phone and retry. So hopefully this is going to work this time. So I'll go ahead and get started. So this is the shaker card that we're going to be doing. Sound is good. Yay. Okay. Thank you for coming back. And I apologize. I don't know what happened. I've never had that happen before. I got a phone call and something must have messed it up. So yay. Glad y'all are back. Thank you for sticking with me and putting up with this. And I apologize. So I'm going to sort of start over again since I'm going to delete the other video. So this is the card we're making today with the Playing in the Rain stamp set bundle. Stamp set, as we already talked about, the stamp set and dies are carrying forward into the new catalog. A lot of the other things I used today are not. So this actually will be in the new catalog, but the bundle pricing will go away, I believe, starting on May 2nd. So be sure you get it ordered before then. So, all right, we got our stamp set. Got the open dies, cut out the stamped images, including the flowers and the cloud. Then we've got our little bridge die, little grass die, a little tree stump. There's one that cuts out the puddles, one that cuts out butterflies, and then there's this cool one that cuts out a kite. So couple pieces so you can cut out and make it look just like a little kite, and the little bows that go down it. All right, talking too fast, I'm sure, but like I said, I know some of you heard this already. So I know, Kara, and I'm telling you, I don't know why, but this is like the time nobody calls me all day long except for this. So, all right, so stamp set. A couple other things that I used on this, it's All That Dies, I'm sorry, is the name of it. These are going to be in the next catalog as well, and I just used the oval shape here to cut out the sentiment. And then, as I was saying, and was so rudely interrupted by the phone call, we got the stitched rectangle dies that actually are retiring. These are on sale, and I believe they're 30% off for the retirement sale. So be sure you grab them if you don't have them. I used actually one of the bigger dies and then skipped a die and then used the next one down to cut out the frame on my little shaker card here. So I'll show you in a second how I did all that. So glad y'all, thanks again. I appreciate y'all coming back. So, all right, a couple things before we get going, and I swear I'll try to make it quick. Last chance retiring products sale going on right now. Started today, the sale prices did. Everything is while supplies last, and things are selling out fast. So if you have any interest, make sure that you are gonna be getting out there and getting everything ordered that is going away, and get those darn stitched rectangles. There is a new sort of stitched die set, a couple of them in the catalog, but no rectangles. So hopefully they will, hopefully they'll bring another set similar back in the near future. So I know the paper is really cute, and that is definitely going away. So I have a double reward points ordering bonus going on right now, and it runs through the end of the day today, April 4th, and you're going to get double points from me with any order of $50 or greater that you place through the online store. And how it works is I have a reward program that if you order $50 or greater, for every $50 increment, you earn 1 point from me. When you collect 8 points, you get a free $40 order of your choice. So with double points, for every $50 that you order, you get 2 points. So you get there twice as fast. All right. And then don't forget the online exclusives. Go take a peek at those and see what's available. Okay. Back. All right. Let's get going on the card, and hopefully we won't lose the audio again. So I have got Flirty Flamingo card base, and this is one of those cards that'll work with either the top fold or the side fold. I prefer the top fold cards. If you prefer side fold, this one will work just as well with your 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 card bases. My card base is actually the 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5.5. So same card front, but yep. It's, like I said, you can use whichever style you like best. And yes, pretty much everything from the stamper has sold out. I don't think anything is left anymore. So I think it all is gone as of today. So, which is definitely sad news. So, all right. So again, Flirty Flamingo card base, and this is some of the Rain or Shine specialty designer series paper. And what makes it specialty is that it's got a little shimmer on it. So, Hey, Jean, thanks for joining. So I know we're sad about the Stamparatus, and yep, there's a whole legal thing going on with it, I guess, that another manufacturer was suing and causing all sorts of trouble. So they had decided to discontinue it. So yeah, it is definitely a bummer. So all right, used multi-purpose liquid glue to adhere a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of the Rain or Shine Specialty Designer Series paper to the front of the card. And then the next thing that I've got here is a piece, this is cut, oops, it's upside down. This again is that same specialty paper, the Rain or Shine specialty paper, and it's cut to about 3 inches by about 4 1/4. And I'm just gonna take that and stick it to the card front with some Stampin' Seal, sort of so that it's centered on the card front. You know, it doesn't need to be perfect because all the layering has got a little extra wiggle room in it. So as long as you get it close and you don't put the raindrops upside down like I just almost did. So, all right, again, just going to kind of eyeball it and try to get it fairly centered. So, hey, Barbara, thanks so much. I appreciate you being here. All right, some of the die cutting I did ahead of time because it's really not very exciting to sit and watch it, nothing going on the screen. This is also cut from that same pack of Designer Series paper, and this paper is retiring on May 1st, and it's only available while supplies last, so go get a pack or 10 because it's really cute. And again, it's called Rain or Shine Specialty Designer Series paper, and it's in the mini catalog. The dies from that coordinate with the stamp set also cut several of the images from the Designer Series paper pack. And this is one of the little images that it cuts out. So this little fox. And then I cut this from Crumb Cake cardstock ahead of time. And I'm just going to sort of place this on here so I have a general idea of where I want the fox to land to make it look like he or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, is walking across the bridge. So, oh, thanks, Linda. I appreciate that. So, all right. So I'm going to, again, just leave my little bridge sort of placed there so I have a general idea of where I want my little fox to land. And then I'm going to take some Stampin' Seal, or if you prefer, you can use multi-purpose liquid glue, whatever it is. Just use a good adhesive that's going to hold your fox down pretty well. And then I'm going to take the fox and tuck him back here again underneath the bridge, kind of about where I want him to land, and then stick him to the card front. Next up, I'm going to grab my little die cut bridge. Again, this is cut from Crumb Cake cardstock, and it's one of the Playing in the Rain dies, and just going to add a little bit of liquid glue here along the edges and a couple spaces here. Probably try to get it, and I'm using just a very little bit because I'm trying not to get too overzealous with the glue. Sometimes I do, and then everything gets glued to me and not to the card front, and then I have a mess. So, all right, so I'm going to take this and again, just try to get it fairly centered and get it so that it looks like his little foot is landing on the bridge and he's not floating in the air. So, hey, Carol, thanks for joining today, and no worries. I actually restarted the video because we had a little technical trouble early on. So, all good. All right, I'm going to grab my little tweezers so that I hopefully don't glue my fingers to the card front here. I cut a couple of the pieces of grass with, again, these are all from that same die set, the Playing in the Rain dies. And this is Old Olive cardstock, and I'm just going to glue these to the card front. And I'm trying to be a little careful just to make sure that all of my die cuts land inside this square rectangle, this rectangle, so that because the layering that I put on the top of it, I made sure that all of it was going to cover the edges of the rectangle. So as long as I don't go outside this rectangle, then I know that I'm all good. So with the placement of everything. All right. I didn't think that paper got some of the paper. It's really a cute pack of paper. Definitely, if you don't have it, you should get it and probably get some more, Carol. So, all right. Well, I'm glad you made it live as well. So again, I got another little die cut here from Old Olive cardstock, and I'm just sticking that down to the card front. And then I'm going to take, I cut 2 more pieces, and I'm actually going to clip off a little bit of these. Because I want it to look like the grass is a little uneven. So I'm just trimming a little off the bottom so that when I adhere it to the card front, it doesn't hang out the bottom of my little shaker because nobody wants stuff hanging out of their shaker. So, all right, there we go. Going to adhere that one down. And then I'm doing the same thing again with this one. Going to flip it over and trim off the little kind of excess down here at the bottom. And then we're going to take a little multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to adhere that right over the top of the other little piece of grass here. Again, just making sure that I'm keeping it inside my rectangle. All right. Next up, this is the fun part. This is where you get to add the shakery pieces, whatever you want to call them. I use two different things. So they're the 4 Everything Fancy sequins. These are actually retiring as well on the 1st of May, and I can't remember whether they're on sale or not. They may be, I don't remember. All right. There are actually 3 different colors of sequins inside. There are pink, green, and blue, and then there are shades of things inside. I picked the blue ones today. Certainly you could use the green or the pink if you would prefer, but I don't know, I picked blue for whatever reason. I thought because it looked a little like it was raining. So I'm just gonna grab a couple of pinches of these and I'm gonna pile them up right here on the top of my little fox. And I'll maybe take, I think I did four or 5 little pinches here. And then I'll add in some of the daisies. So, oh, and they are on sale? Okay, good. All right. Then I've got the loose daisy embellishments, and I'm just going to add a couple of little pinches of those over the top to put a couple little flowers in there. And maybe a couple more. All right. So that's the basics for your shaker card. Now I'm going to slide this over, and I probably should have built this beforehand, but that's okay because I'll show you what I'm doing along the way. So I grabbed the stitched rectangle dies. Again, I used the 2nd from the largest and then the 4th from the largest to make the frame. I just laid one inside the other, ran it through the die cutting machine, and it cut both of them at the same time to cut my little frame out. And this is cut from the textured 12 by 12 shimmer paper, which comes in, it's a pack of 3 different colors. It's balmy blue, shaded spruce, and white, I think are the colors in it. I know it's one of the greens. And this paper is actually carrying forward into the next catalog, so it'll be around for a minute if you like it. And I grabbed my Stampin' seal, and I'm just running it around the edge of my little die cut frame. And if you prefer liquid glue, you can certainly use it. I don't know, I prefer not liquid glue, especially on something like this where it's not paper, not truly paper, because I was afraid that it would ooze everywhere if I tried to put liquid glue on it. So I didn't, because I'm sticking 2 things together that are not, I don't know, they're not papery, so it's not going to absorb it, and I was afraid it would just ooze out and make a huge mess. So this is a window sheet. Again, this comes in 12 by 12 size sheets, and I cut this one down to, it's about 4.5 by about 3 1/8 inches. And again, all the measurements will be on my blog tomorrow, so you can see all the details there. And I'm just going to stick that to the frame here, and going to run my finger along the edge to make sure it's sealed down well. And then I'm going to grab my little embossing buddy from the embossing tools kit, I think is what it's called. And because I did kind of get a little adhesive along the edges where the window sheet is not covering it, I'm just kind of running my embossing buddy over it to make it so that it's not quite so sticky along the edges. And then I'm going to grab some of the foam adhesive strips. These come in a pack. I think there are 3 of these in there, 3 or 4, I can't remember for sure. But this is what they look like when they start with, and this is what they look like as you start to use them up and start to chop up the sheets of the foam sheets, or foam strips. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually stick it here on the back of my frame, trying to make sure that it's sort of centered on here, that it's not going to be sticking out inside the card. I don't want the inside to, you don't want to see the white on the inside for your shaker. So I know, stitch rectangle dies. I know, I appreciate that, Mary, because I'm sad about it too. So, hey, Judy, thanks for joining. So, all right. I'm going to grab another little piece of the foam adhesive strips. The only thing when you're doing a shaker card is you do want to make sure that you have your foam adhesive strips meet up in the corners. They don't need to be like super, super tight in the corner, but you do want to make sure that they meet up pretty well so that there's not a space for any of your little sequins to get loose and get out of your card. But yeah, otherwise you don't have to be too careful with it. All right, and then I'm going to take this one. I'm going to tap that over here in the corner, make sure that it's stuck in there well. Peeling it off the backing as I go here. And then I'm going to snip that off. And then I'm going to come in here with the last little section and stick this together. Whoop, come on, Amy. Fingers will work one of these days. And then tuck this into the corner. Again, doesn't need to be perfectly like sealed off or anything, but just small enough space in there that you're not going to have any sequins get loose. So Yeah, the layering circles are retiring too. So, yeah, there's lots of good stuff, but there's lots of good new things coming. So, all right, I'm going to take it and just make sure that these are adhered well to the back of my little frame here, because I want to make sure that it's, again, no sequins are going to get loose in the making of this card, hopefully. All right, then I'm going to grab my embossing buddy one more time, and I'm actually going to take it and sort of run it along the edges of the foam adhesive strips, because sometimes they get a little sticky along the edges, and then the sequins all stick there. And also, I rub it over the window sheet to stop the sequins from hopefully sticking to the back of the window sheet and then not shaking nicely like I want them to. So again, the embossing buddy is a great little tool to have. Now we're just going to peel the backing off. I know there's just a lot of things that are good but there's a lot of good things coming in the catalog too, Carol, so don't be too sad. Lots of fun new things. So, all right, so I peeled all the backing off of the foam adhesive strips, and then I'm just going to take this frame, flip it over on top of my little sequins, and try to get it centered and straight. And then I'm just going to take it and press it down well to the card front. And that's all there is to making the shaker. So it's really easy. So if you haven't done a shaker card, that's all there is to it. All you have to do is just put a little of the foam adhesive strips around the edges, and it's all done. So hold on one second. Sorry, every once in a while, still get a little cough going on. Why there can't be a corner of the catalog I know, Linda, and I'm hopeful that the online exclusives may turn into something a little bit more like that. So hopefully we'll have a few more things returning. And I realized I forgot to grab a little piece of basic white cardstock to stamp my flowers on, so hang on a second and I will grab that. I think I've got a piece here. Yep. All right, just had to make sure that was big enough. Then I have got Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and these are the little flowers from the Plain in the Rain dies, or the Plain in the Rain stamp set, and we're just going to ink it up in Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Stamp it here on the basic white cardstock, and set that aside. And then I'm going to grab, I've got Old Olive and Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends markers. And this is not complex coloring at all, just basically coloring in the flower centers, doing a little circle with the light Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends, just add a little dash of the dark. It doesn't even need that. If you don't really want to do it, it's okay. And then I've got Old Olive here, and again, just doing the same thing, just doing a quick little color over the top with my Old Olive Stampin' Blend. Whoops, I missed a flower, goodness. And then I'm going to come back in here with the dark Old Olive, and again, just put a little touch of the dark on the bottom of the leaves. And then I'm going to come back here with my light and just do one more kind of swoosh up each one of the leaves to kind of blend it just a little bit. And then I'm going to fill in the last little dot. So, all right, there we go. And I just colored all over myself. Good heavens. All right. Let me grab the die here. So this is the die that coordinates with it in the Plain with the Rain dies. And I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. So hang on one second. I will be off screen and I will be right back. And that's the cute little die cut that you get with the flowers. So, and gonna grab a couple of little glue dots here, and we're just gonna stick the flowers onto the frame. You like it without the flowers too? Yeah, you could definitely go. Okay, I just threw my glue dots on the floor. So at least the box for them. You could definitely do it either way. So if you wanted it to not necessarily be quite as feminine, you can change out the color in the background and maybe leave the flowers off of it. So yeah, lots of different ways you can make this card. All right, then I've got some Daffodil Delight cardstock and the Sentiment from the Plain in the Rain stamp set, Versamark ink, and we're going to do some heat embossing. So ink it up well with Versamark and then stamp it here on my Daffodil Delight cardstock. And then gonna grab my white embossing powder from the Basics Embossing Powders. I am throwing things everywhere. Yeah. Probably because I have such a mess on my desk that I can hardly get anything without another thing toppling over. So, all right. You like the flowers? Aw, I thought they were kind of cute too, especially with the little shaker flowers in there. So, all right. So we've got white embossing powder. I'm going to turn on the heat tool. So the Stampin' Up! Heat tool has 2 settings. There's a level 1 setting for drying and level 2 setting for heat embossing. So level 1 obviously is a little bit cooler, and you can use it if you're doing watercoloring or some sort of using an ink that takes a little longer to dry and you want to hurry it up a little bit. Level 2 setting gets hotter and is for heat embossing. So, all right. I haven't stamped in days. Mary Kay, good heavens. Yes, start stamping and don't quit. All right. I'm going to turn this towards the little image here, and there we go. It's starting to turn white and shiny, and that's when you know that it's done. And you'll want to turn it off as soon as everything gets white and shiny, because you can overheat it and burn it, and then it turns brown and not very pretty at all. So, hey Diane, thanks for joining. So I appreciate you being here. Then let me grab the dies again here. This is the All That dies, and I'm going to use the little oval one, and it fits almost perfectly around my sentiment. And so I'm going to run that through the die cutting machine. So I'll be back in 1 second. So, I'm glad y'all are liking the card. So. Yeah, shakers are one of those things that it took me a while to kind of talk some of the people in my team, Karen, for instance, into trying them. But I'm like, they're really easy. You really need to try it. And they're like, no, it can't possibly be. They're really easy, especially if you get the foam adhesive strips. One other thing that I probably didn't say, because this is a card where the foam adhesive strips are stuck on fairly straight, they are really flexible. So if you have a round shape or an oval or something like that, the strips actually bend really easily, and you can put them into whatever space you need them to fit into or around. So they're really easy to use. And like I said, Karen can tell you they're really easy. So, all right. So that's it. So that's the card front. Super simple. And like I said, lots of fun. Need to find a money tree, Heather? I know. The new catalog is really good. And so is the old one. And so it's hard to, I want everything too. So I got a mess. There's embossing powder everywhere. Goodness. So the inside of the card, I did cut up one of the edges, one of the turtles from the edges. Of that Designer Series paper. Again, it's that same Rain or Shine Designer Series paper, and there are some of these little critters that are along the edges. But the nice thing about that is you can actually use them to your advantage. You can cut them off and then use them like that on the edge of your card, which is exactly what we're going to do in here. So you can't use the whole dimensionals. Yeah. So, all right. Scissors and a ruler. Yeah. All right. So I've got the sentiment here from the Plain in the Rain stamp set, and I've got Balmy Blue ink, and we're just going to stamp that here on a piece of basic white cardstock. So you forgot to send a birthday card? Yeah, oh well. All right, sorry, the air just turned on again. It kind of full blast in here. Sorry, hopefully it's not making too much racket. We're almost done. So, all right, I'm using a little Stampin' Seal to adhere my little die cut turtle to the inside of my card. And again, I just cut him from the edge of the paper and use the little coordinating die that goes with it. So he's really easy to cut and color because you don't have to do anything other than cut him. So, all right. And then I've got a little strip of the coordinating Designer Series paper that I used on the card front that I trimmed off. And just going to add that on the inside of the card as well. This is a little bit oversized, so it's about 4 1/4. And I'm just going to take that and adhere it here along the bottom of my basic white panel. This panel is cut to about 4 by 5 1/4, and just going to finish up the inside of the card like that. So trim off the little excess. All the measurements for this will be on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. And you can go out and take a peek at it then. I'll link up to the blog post tomorrow morning once it goes live around 8 o'clock Eastern time. So you'll be able to see all the measurements. There'll be a PDF tutorial and everything out there as well. So all the details, everything you need to know about how to recreate it. So Will I get my pre-order tomorrow? Perhaps, Mary Kay. I might get mine tomorrow. So I actually did do an overnight on it, but that doesn't always necessarily mean that it's going to make it here on time, because weather and all sorts of things can make a difference. But hopefully it will be here tomorrow. So if you see a notice that I'm going to hop on live, come join me. I'll probably be showing you some new things. And if not, I'll probably hop on Thursday at some point and show it. So, all right, so that's it for today. These are the cards. These are the little shaker cards. Super, super simple. It's a very easy thing to do. Just get yourself some of the foam adhesive strips, make a little frame, and you'll be all done. So, all right, let me know if you have any questions about anything. I appreciate you all being here. Will you do a live for my pre-order? I plan to, Carol. Again, it just depends on when my pre-order gets here. And I will post a note probably on my Facebook page letting you know I'll go live. And if you have the alert set to notify you when I go live on YouTube, then you should get a notification as well. So, all right. Thanks again for being here. I will chat with y'all soon, and hopefully I'll be able to go live tomorrow or Thursday with my pre-order. Talk to y'all soon.